we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome,
Hello.
welcome, welcome. It's so wonderful to have you here. I'm back with Dr. Ann, and she is a sentient academic. Some people are like, what does that even mean?
I don't know what it means. It just means living, thinking,
Yeah, yeah,
connecting,
yeah.
just to have
So
soul. Sentient
we,
really implies
yeah,
soul.
yes,
Yeah.
we are
Mm.
aware of the scientific and also the metaphysical, I
Yep.
guess. Yeah,
Yep.
and
We are.
other wonderful places that we can go. Anyway,
Yeah.
is it warming up there? You look like you're a little chilled today.
Actually, this is warm. We've had
Wow.
near freezing temperatures, and of course, where we live in New Zealand, it's all islands and oceans. So if you're close to the ocean, it's not supposed to freeze. But man,
Mhm.
we've had frosts and all
Really?
sorts.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
it's been
Wow.
like freezing, but really super clear at night, which is actually worrisome because it's a wet country. We don't have irrigation. We're supposed to have
Right.
rain. So I'm actually worried about the farmers and what's going to happen this summer because we're
I
in
see.
that super big El Nino, the super El Nino
Mhm.
right now. It's
Yeah.
hitting us hard, really hard.
Oh,
Hey,
wow.
artist Liz. Hi, Mary.
Artist Liz and Mary. Yeah, I am busy. I just came off of a Lionsgate show with
Cool.
JJ and Tuda, and that
Oh,
was a lot of
nice.
fun because that's our energy we're sitting in today.
Yep.
But yeah, so I'm glad you ladies are here, and
Yeah. Thank you for coming.
yeah, and so Dr. Ann and I are going to talk about a few things
Hmm.
that really affect all of us, not
Yep.
just academic things, but we love coming together, and sometimes we just riff, and that's
Yeah.
yeah.
Even though we have an intended topic, it might just go whoop or whoop.
I love that.
At least
I
we
love it.
laugh, so that's
Yeah.
okay.
And I just was telling, every day I think to myself, I need to laugh every day, at least
Yes.
100, maybe at least 25 or 30 times, because that's really what
Yep.
keeps our vibration up. So
Yep.
you gotta find a way to do
Joy.
it. Yeah.
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 Joy, effervescence,
Uh,
pizzazz, all
uh-huh.
kinds of things. Yeah.
I was watching, I mean, I go on to Instagram or the shorts, and I'll watch some of those little animals that push the buttons that
Oh,
talk, and
yes.
I
Yes.
this sounds really, really stupid, but you know how people, when they walk out the front door and there's ice, but you can't see it, it's like black ice and they fall.
Yes.
So
Yes.
this one lady, she ran after her husband because he did that, and it's stupid, but it's funny.
It's
It's
stupid, but it's funny. I mean, I
it
remember in the middle of broad day in Utah many, many, many years ago, walking
is.
out from this grocery store and just whoop, boom, and I'm going, ah. Hopefully nobody saw
I
that.
know.
No,
The thing is, it hurts like hell, but you're more embarrassed than
yeah.
anybody saw you, you know?
Yeah. And then you think later, oh, I just
Uh,
wonder how many injuries those hospitals get from the older and infirm who break something or,
Absolutely. I mean, it's so dangerous
sorry,
for
more
older
mature.
people. Yeah,
We're
more
mature, not
more mature.
not older.
Okay,
We're
more
mature.
mature. Yeah. I'll take whatever I can get at this
Yeah,
point.
exactly.
Somebody said, if you could live to what, 140, that I'm only in middle age. So
There you go. Right on.
yeah.
It's middle
Uh,
age somewhere. Maybe
And they're
somewhere in
saying,
space we'll be young.
you know, your kids are part of Gen Z, I think, aren't they? For
Yeah,
those Gen
yeah.
Z, they could live to be
Millennium. Yeah.
150. They could.
Yeah, they
That's
could.
yeah, yeah. Hi, Jerode. It's nice to see you.
Yeah,
So
hello,
yeah,
hello.
so today we thought we'd talk about critical thinking will come
Yep.
into this, but DEI and the fact that
Yes.
and I'd love to know what New Zealand does with that. And we're also going to
Mm.
talk about biases and assumptions because there's a lot of that coming in here too.
That
Oh,
plays
there's
it
Mary
all.
Susan from the Canary
Hi, Mary.
Islands.
Oh
Oh,
wow,
nice to
hi. Oh my
see
gosh,
you.
Mary Susan. I
And
don't know if
very
you know, I'm in New Zealand. So we're like, this is so cool. We're in
hi,
this like liminal space that connects everybody around the world. And
everybody.
I
I
love
know.
that.
Isn't it
That's so
wonderful?
cool. Yeah.
And I
Awesome.
think
Welcome.
Jerode is also from another country. So
Oh,
yeah,
hey, awesome.
I am very
Yeah.
fortunate. You probably aren't aware of this, Anne, but I
Hmm.
finally reached my 100,000 subscribers, And yeah, and
Wonderful.
I
Congratulations.
thank you. I have tried to get subscribers all over the world, and I've been able to do that, which makes me
That's
so very
wonderful.
happy because that's really what
Yeah.
it's all about. We're all
Yep.
global citizens.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah. So hi Sil, hi Fatima
Hi,
and Charlie.
Fatima. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
I haven't seen you in ages, Fatima. You've always been so
yeah,
kind to me.
I
Yeah.
know. And Charlie's here too. Welcome.
Hi, Charlie. Welcome,
So
everybody.
let's talk about this. And then Anne's got some
Hmm.
stuff she's done research on because that's her life. She's a research professor. I mean, she's a
Yeah.
research MD.
Yeah, well, they call
Doctor.
us, okay, so in New Zealand, okay, so technically I'm a professor
Right.
stateside,
You
but
are.
here it's a pay scale. So my
Uh-huh.
title isn't professor because you have to be tenured and,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
whatever. It's a
Mhm.
very kind of, forgive me if anybody's from the UK, it's kind of like an English colony hangover because, you know, New Zealand's a former colony, so they kind of go by the English
Yeah.
system. So
Yep.
that's okay. But yeah,
Yeah.
so I have a
Well,
doctorate in
a
education.
lot of my
Yeah.
librarians at the colleges that I work
Hmm.
for, they could all teach classes because they're
Oh,
all so
easily.
well researched. Yeah. So
Scientists, you know,
yeah.
library scientists, and that is a science, by the way.
Uh-huh. That's awesome. Yes,
Yeah.
Charlie. And
Hey,
thank you,
Magical Mermaid.
Magical Mermaid. Thank you. Yeah, I got it. I'm almost one 100,000 or 101,000. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'm going to get a plaque, and when I do, I'll bring it on. It's just that,
Yes,
I spent a lot of money to find
that's
those
so cool.
people, so I'm happy that it worked itself out. But I
I
can
think that's
tell you this:
wonderful.
I have some really wonderful people. I've had them from the beginning.
Mm,
In
yeah,
2020 when I first came on, including yourself. I
I think
think
so.
you met,
Yeah,
yeah, I met you from
the book club.
the girl, what's her name? Chrissy. Chrissy.
Yes,
I,
Chrissy. Oh, I
yeah,
have to footprint
yeah,
to row. Yeah,
yeah.
she's over
Perfect.
in Perth,
Yeah,
Western Australia. I have family
right.
that lives there.
And I think I
Yeah.
either went to one of her shows and that's where you were. And that's how I met
Yes.
you.
No, that's
Yeah.
cool. Oh my gosh,
Uh-huh.
it
I know it was a
taking
long
back
time
all of
ago.
it.
It was.
That
So
shows our
yeah.
maturity. We're very mature.
And
Sorry.
Anne is a former American and now a New Zealander.
Yeah, I'm a
Um,
Kiwi.
uh,
Kiwi Amber Kiwi, whatever you want to call
yeah,
it.
but you've been
It's
there
funny.
many years, many
I've
years.
been here 25, 26 years
Mm,
now. 26.
mhm. Yeah,
Good
that's a
grief.
long time.
Nearly half, not quite half of my life, but we're working on it. Good
Hmm.
grief. Anyway.
That's awesome. So,
Great.
all right. So we're going to start out with some biases and assumptions, and I'm going to read some of this because
Good.
they explain it. The people explain it better than I do as far as
Hmm.
definitions go. So,
Yeah.
biases often are systemic, often unconscious mental leanings or prejudices that skew objective thinking. While assumptions are specific ideas or premises taken for granted as true without immediate proof. And they act as cognitive shortcuts that help the brain process information quickly, but they frequently lead to errors in judgment.
Yes. And so I would say emotions are laced throughout all that.
And I know that it can be, if we're talking politically, I know that it can be both sides. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it isn't
Be
just one. Yeah, it
even
can be
neutral.
anyone. Yeah, even
It,
neutral.
it's
Right.
it's what you saw from your parents when you were growing up. You know, it's what
Absolutely. Yeah.
your friends when you're young to adulthood. I mean, we're humans having a
Mhm.
soul experience, so this is part of who we are. But being able to cut through that,
Right.
wow,
Cut through it.
yeah,
I mean, I used to
yeah,
explain to my students, I'm a little biased about the choice of ice cream I like. I mean, that sounds ridiculous to say, but
yeah,
I grew up with this certain kind of ice cream that reminds me of being a kid, black raspberry ice cream.
yeah.
And if I don't want what is it, Neapolitan, the one that's chocolate
It's
vanilla and
mixed
sugar?
chocolate vanilla. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
still yummy though. I mean, all of
I
it's
know, but
yummy. Yeah,
I
but you got your preference, and you know what? That's
right.
great.
I know it is great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
all of
I'm
it's
not
great.
I'm not going to judge you for wanting to have it.
No,
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 of
of
course
course
not.
not.
No.
Yeah,
So, this bias or generalized passive inclination for or against a person, idea, or a thing that prevents neutral consideration. So once again, we're talking about not having balance, not using critical thinking skills, which is one of the things that, is part of this discussion. And we are living in a world where critical thinking skills have been thrown out the window, really, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would say that's on purpose.
Oh, yes, it is. It's very
I would argue
manipulative.
that it's
Yeah.
very manipulative. So,
Yeah.
and all of us here, including me, I've got biases and assumptions. I always have to constantly work on it. And
We
being
do.
thrown into another culture, boy, does that mess your head up.
Sure, of course. Of course, it does.
Because you only know things from the culture that you're from.
Right.
And then you learn about, to assimilate into that culture. So it really forces a lot of, like, for lack of a term, frictional change within your psyche.
Right.
But mainly it's like challenging your certain beliefs and saying, well, actually, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Until you realize, hey, this is the way it's done here, or this is the way, and honoring the culture that you're in. And if you don't agree some of the things, agree to disagree and move forward. You're a guest in the country that you're in,
That's right. That's right.
Even
what's the first thing someone will say to you if you say something? Well, you can just go home, just leave. I mean, people say that all the time. And it's not that that's what I want to do. It's just that I have a right to say what I think, and some people will not allow that to happen either, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Mary, I love that you love all. I feel the same way. But I did grow up with a lot of bias. My parents were very kind people and very nice people. And I think I was lucky, but they had their biases.
Oh, for sure.
Some of that is cultural, I think, and their upbringing. So.
And they didn't have the exposure or the information exposure that we've got, whether that's good or bad, but we had more time to think back then instead of this
that's very
these
true.
tools designed to capture your instant attention, and give you that dopamine hit. I mean, they actually had psychologists design. Well, they had psychologists design the tools.
Yeah, I know.
For dopamine hits. And then the programmers actually program that in. So, you notice how you get feed, like if you start watching dog videos, because I'm one of those people.
You get
I like puppies and dogs, especially handicapped dogs, because I love, how they are loved and cherished and all that. So I keep more and more, the more I click and like. So those are cookies, and all those tell the programming, hey, this is this person's like. Maybe they'll buy a wheelchair for the next puppy, and the next thing you see is a wheelchair ad for dogs.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So and as you scroll through, it'll be, oh, the poor thing. Oh, the news is, this by this, make you feel better. So go through your phone and look at your ads and look at the psychology of how they present things to you. Instead of as a different story, look at the progression of how they present them, because they're actually controlling your emotions.
That's very true. Oh my God, yes. Now sometimes you may not even look up something on your phone or your computer, and you go there and it's just what you were talking about to somebody in the room.
Yeah. Sorry, I think it looks like we're buffering. Am I looking really slow to people? Because I think I'm buffering, but that's okay.
You are buffering a little bit. Yeah,
okay, sorry guys. I can see. Yeah, I'll just try to look normal instead of weird.
It's all right. It's all good. We had a situation on the Dream Show the other night where we think we were attacked. Everything got really weird. So, and YouTube's like, well, I don't know. Can you do it again? Can you redo what you did? And I'm like, I don't want to. I don't think it's a good thing to do, because we just decided to leave. At that point. Yeah.
Well, it served its purpose, I guess. So,
it did.
So sorry. I'll tell people in my household to quit using the internet.
I know.
It's the weekend. Everybody's on the internet.
Everybody's on the internet.
Throttled like to bits. Yeah. Anyway.
So preventing neutral consideration is one of the things that happens, and you'll notice it if you see a rally for who, for us in the States. Oh no, we'll be there, Mary. No. Just that we had to close the show down last week. That's all. No, we'll be back. Hi, Cheryl. Hi, Glorious. Nice to see you.
Hi, guys. Sorry, I'm buffering a lot, so I'm just trying to tell people in my house not to be on the internet.
Sure. No worries. No worries. But if you have somebody that is standing and interviewing people that are at rallies, let's say, for a person that you may not care to vote for or want to see, and their logic is so full of bias, even when presented with actually evidence of something, they completely, and of course, then you've got indoctrination stuck in that thing. So some biases could be, or assumptions could be indoctrination as well, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. We've got to be really mindful and think critically. And what do we mean by think critically? Because everybody's like, oh. All it is the ability to understand the other perspective. That's it.
Yep.
It doesn't mean agreement, and it means taking the emotions out of it.
Which is not easy to do because we're being stirred up all the time.
Yeah. You know, I mean, look at your internet feeds, you guys. It's just going to increase your blood pressure. I'm surprised there's probably a lot more heart disease since the recent administration took over.
I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. Yeah. So the assumption in this case, we accept something as a baseline truth to build our argument, plan, or test upon.
Yes.
So if it worked here, then it will work there, which isn't true always. In other words, you know, we tried this, it worked here. And so that's a real, I assume it's going to work. But you know what they say about assumptions.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Everybody comes from their backgrounds and the ways of thinking and knowing. So to break free from some of those ways of thinking and knowing is extremely difficult.
It is
difficult.
Then,
and remember, generationally, things change how we have the perception to perceive. So, for example, media influencing what we're doing, and media being controlled by massive corporates / agendas, you know, things like that. So it's just being mindful of these things and being able to check resources, find things that actually report the news that's not necessarily slanted politically either one way or another. And you're thinking, where on God's green earth can I find this information? So there are a few places you can find this if you're looking at news. Sorry, I'm still buffering. Do you want me to turn off my camera so it's easier, or?
It's up to you. It isn't bothering me. We can hear you, so you're fine.
Okay, cool. Sorry, guys, you're looking at me funny. Anyway, but there's one that's, and nobody's paying me for anything, but I look at it periodically. And what's really interesting is and you probably know about this already, Aley, is ground news is pretty good because they have a scale that they rate the political spectrum-ish side of the article that it's on. Okay. So you can see if it's more red, it's one way. If it's more blue, it's the other, or white, it's neutral in the middle. So just look up ground news in Google, and then that gives you kind of an interesting perspective.
Is it brown or ground?
GROUNDNEWS. So I'll type it in the comment if it lets me.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I hadn't heard of it, so I would love to hear that. Look at that. Yes, Magical Mermaid, they are voting for their own preconceived notions of prejudice. Very true. Or what their parents voted for, or their family voted for, and their belief systems can be their Prozac. Oh boy, is that right? Oh, it's ground. Okay. Like the ground. Okay.
Yep. On the ground. We're grounding the news.
Yeah. Yep.
So as far as we're concerned, it's in space at the moment.
Yep. They also don't listen to the same news. Yes. And now they believe all Democrats are communists. I asked someone the other day the definition of socialism, and they did not know. Many think it's fascism. But fascism is what we're living right now, I think.
Yeah. Fascism is a militarized government. And you tell me what's not militarized. weaponry, like of certain groups that are going around grabbing people without warrants and things. I won't say anything. But I mean, but the thing is, this is, textbook stuff, and it's just like,
it is textbook. Yeah.
But the system is like diminishing people so much. I mean, let's tax them to bejesus. Forgive my language, guys. Let's put systems in to make it so freaking hard to live that you just are barely scraping by and paying, luckily not on a food line, but just enough.
Yeah.
But we can still give millions of dollars to initiatives that don't benefit the people. I mean, it's just, it's nuts. I mean, so I think we're on a precipice. I know we keep talking about it, and I know it's depressing, and I know it's about bias and ethics. And I mean, as women, I forgive me if there are any men watching right now or in the replay, but women's rights have diminished. Ageism is big. Have you seen what's happening with ageism?
Yes.
With the massive layoffs and nobody wanting to get hired anymore, and how do you position yourself because you plan to at least work until 65, but now you can't. It's just really tough.
And the interesting thing about that is that they're saying that the administration is saying that people need to work until they drop, basically. That Miller, that this is either that or we should probably just die so we could get out of the way. But what's upsetting to me is today they did give the AG nomination to that person, and that person has already promised to completely, not that he can, because these things we hear, we say, well, that's not possible because you can't do that. But a lot of things have happened that we've said that about.
We never thought possible, right?
Never thought possible. But this one wants to completely abolish abortion all over the country. And that means if you have eclampsia or you have this or you have that, you can't get one.
You will die.
You will.
It's a death sentence for many that don't even are probably aware of it. Okay. So anyway, in terms of DEI and those types of things, what do we do? What do we do?
Because it's gone.
What do we do?
Here. It's gone here. Now, I want to know, in Australia, is there a push or a DEI style way of living, or are you dealing with what we're dealing with here?
Okay, so Australia has a really, really shaded, dark, has a very dark immigration history, and still is working on it, but their indigenous peoples, the original peoples, are not equal citizens in my view. Okay, this is my personal opinion. The way they treat them. But New Zealand's very different. New Zealand, when it was a colony and the indigenous people were here, the colonizers were so rough and tumble and nuts. Some of the chiefs got together, the iwi, they're called iwi, like tribes, I guess, or nations, got together and wrote a letter to Queen Victoria, said, hey, we don't mind you guys being here, but you need to sort your stuff out because this is disgusting, like brothels and real severe drunkenness. I mean, imagine sailors going all the way that far around the world, getting to a bountiful place, going nuts. That's basically what it was. Sure. So, I mean, it was lawless.
The Philippines is like too for these sailors. They're
back in the day. But anyway, so she said, yep, and it's a jaded history, but eventually there's a preacher and son, and I'm doing this very quickly, so anybody here who knows more, please comment, even in the post recording. But what happened in the end was a preacher and his son who knew some of the indigenous language called Te Reo Maori went around, transcribed the words as they understood them in Maori. So there's going to be something lost in translation, right?
Yeah.
And went around to the different iwis and got the majority of them to sign. Some did not. They were like, heck no, we aren't going to be a partnership. So this country is found on a partnership between the indigenous people, the Maori citizens, and everybody else. So the white Pakeha and everybody else. So there is a real distinctive out of all the country. I mean, it's fraught. It's not perfect. It's messed up. But when I have some of my friends go to indigenous conferences around the world, people are coming to them. How did you get so many rights? How did you get, they even have government funded schools in Te Reo Maori and cultural ways called kura,
Okay.
for the akonga for the students. So they learn Te Reo Maori and ways, but also meet the curriculum standards for the country. So there's a lot everywhere. I mean, we've got bilingual signs everywhere. We've got, I've had to learn Te Reo Maori. I have to learn my pepeha. I mean, I haven't learned the language, but I've learned to pronounce it because there are teachers going into schools that were teaching students how to not pronounce it correctly. So there's a big push throughout, from the government to get teachers. In fact, I designed a course for people how to pronounce Te Reo Maori, because when you get a text, like if you're reading to students and it goes English, Maori word, you have to be able to, you're switching codes or languages with your vowels. It's called code switching.
Okay.
So we had the final assessment in that course is to be able to read a Maori text. Well, I mean, an English text with Maori words laced through it for the future teachers in New Zealand.
It's like
and then so it was really cool. It's slow because we don't want it to be a dying language. Our culture in it, and there's a real revitalization programs across the country.
Well, I mean,
very short.
I started teaching. We didn't have DEI, and then as I've taught over the last 27 years, I was teaching diversity classes.
That's cool. Yeah.
And we were learning about biases and assumptions, and people took a test. A lot of them took a test, and it would say, how do you feel about this or this or this? And they found out that they had biases and assumptions.
Yeah.
And they were really mortified by it. And I said, no, you don't need to. It's okay. It isn't like it was something small. It was just, they weren't aware that's what it was. It wasn't like, oh, I don't like blonde, blue-eyed people or something like, patently like that.
Yeah.
But it was really nice to see the inclusion and the equity that was being sent. After they decided that they did not want us to be woke, which is the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life, because who doesn't want to be somewhat educated in things, things that change. And the way that they tore this all down and how they went about it in the colleges. I don't teach that, of course, anymore because I can't, because they won't do it. But we're trying to put that into some of the humanities ideas, because the humanities ideas are all about how things fit together, how disciplines fit together, how people fit together, or different cultures fit together. But it did. It turned into a psychology class. Yes. Yeah.
Instead of looking at your being, observing others, it still doesn't give you the opportunity to enroll it in your being or to give it an invitation. Yeah. I think the biggest part is acknowledging or stopping yourself thinking that point where you can stop. Is this a bias? Is this actually observable, measurable information I'm judging this thing on? And that's really hard to do because our brains just go straight into it. It's instantaneous.
Well, it's interesting because my dentist is from China originally, and his mother used to bring over would adopt from people out of China. So she had that job before it ended, and he's not very tall. And there's a guy that played basketball. I don't know if he still does. His name was Yao, 7 foot.
Oh, 9. I remember him.
Remember Yao?
Wow.
Okay. So he met Yao.
Cool.
He met him. And
how cool.
My dentist was 17 when he met him, so he was just a kid.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But Yao was like, everybody else was like this,
Yeah.
And so I said something, and it really was an assumption. After I recognized it was, he was very good about it. But I said, wow, there aren't that many that I've seen Chinese folks that are that tall. And he said, well, there didn't used to be. And then he told me how people that were suffering from malnutrition. And I had no idea.
Yeah,
but you make this assumption. You make an assumption because you don't know. But if you ask, then it's not wrong to ask. I don't think, if you're asking in the right way. Like I was asking you, what about DEI in your country, in New Zealand? You know,
but we're working on it. That's all I can say. Like everywhere else is trying to work
but that's how you learn. You have to ask the questions. So,
and I do. Luckily, what we have at the where I work in the university is they have it's called Kai'arahi, and they're Maori kind of cultural advisors on top of their normal jobs, but like in pedagogies, and we have different pedagogical ways that we can apply to education at the university and teach others to teach with this and all that kind of stuff. But I'm working on something right now to advise a lecturer on their course, and I'm like, look, can we get some feedback? What's culturally cool about this? What can we do to improve it? What can we, and boy, have I learned a lot.
I bet you have. You wouldn't have asked the question probably, or it wouldn't have come up normally. And you did. And it made a big change. Wow.
It's really, really interesting stuff too. I mean, like, the really community minded cultures from what I've experienced and learned, very, very much into the elder teaching younger, teaching elder, which is called Tuakana Taina. Very much into like, and I'm like, why did the other cultures just squish all this out? It's just, it's very neophyte of me to ask that, but this is part of my learning, and I still have
part of your learning process
to learn.
It's much like the idea that those who are from South American countries or heavily influenced Spanish, Hispanic origin, they take care of their old people. They don't put them in homes unless there's some kind of real distress. They are the ones.
Yep.
But that's
Same
not
here.
The way that, Oh, really?
Yeah, Maori people, and even with like a tangi, a funeral, like my friend had a family member pass recently, and they lay them out in the home, and everybody, they have, I think, 3 days of mourning. And we aren't talking just like little tears. We're talking wailing, like getting it out, people coming up, making speeches. Everybody makes speeches. Everybody sings. There's singing that goes with it. There's a prayer at the beginning of the day and at night. I mean, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
It's very, very interesting. So,
Well, it's like I never knew about it's the taka. Is that?
The haka. The haka. The war dance that they do before rugby games.
So awesome.
It's not even dance. It's like I'm challenging you. They're really like. And sorry, I'm not sticking my tongue out at you guys. That's what they actually do.
They do in the haka. Yeah, that's right. If you ever get
because that's to scare the enemy. You're tough, and it's a real. Yeah. It's really, really cool.
It is.
Yeah,
cool.
It's pretty awesome to witness. I've seen one done at a wedding.
Okay.
They do them at retirements, like a whole school of 500 students did it for a retiring instructor. Like it's just very stirring and amazing. Yeah. Haka.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just look it up online, you guys. Just type in New Zealand Haka and pull up the All Blacks. All Blacks.
Yeah.
By the way, All Blacks comes from a term that the farmers were so poor, all they could afford were the same colored jerseys, which were black. Because New Zealand was a farming colony, so they just wore black shirts and whatever shorts to play rugby in. And then they became known in the 1906. There was a series of games played in Europe by the 1906 All Blacks, and I have a distant relation who was involved in that. So a very famous relation involved in the All Blacks. So anyway, but yeah, that's what they did. Yeah,
I love this.
Maybe
would be one. I find that so fascinating. Yeah. If you're one of my classes, we're talking about cultural appropriation, and in that class, the assignment was to look up a movie or look up something and whether or not it was culturally appropriate. And one of the was Moana, the Disney movie Moana. And how that, that students are looking at whether or not they think that were there biases in there, were there assumptions put in there, or was, was it really representative of what that particular group was really like? And I absolutely really love that, because I don't think many people think about that. And in the 50s, we had Walt Disney movies. I don't know if you've
I
ever
remember.
remember the ones that were, what was it, Song of the South, I believe.
Oh
Was
yeah,
one of them.
that's not available. You can't watch that. That
You
was
can't
very,
watch
very
it anymore
biased.
because it's so racist. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think at the time that people, and this is where also in books we cannot change it, because that was what the author wrote and that was what the zeitgeist of the
Yeah.
time was. But in
Mhm.
movies, we tend not to show them anymore, or
Yeah.
shows like that are so badly representative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, oh, Jason
Yeah.
Momoa performed the Haka on his audition for Game of Thrones.
He's Hawaiian, but he's really close with a bunch of
He is.
Maori actors. And he met
Uh-huh.
them on the Aquaman movies. And so he's super
Okay.
close with them. So he comes to New Zealand all the time and goes to Queenstown. He's in
Yeah.
movies down here all the time. There's sightings of him everywhere in New Zealand. He loves Kiwis. So I'm like, cool, man, come on in. Yeah. It's really, really cool. Yeah.
You might be right, Mary, that it's only been the last 75 years for old people's homes. It's a business model. You don't know, these homes are expensive. They are astronomically expensive.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I know.
Yeah. And usually you have to sign over everything, like your house, your car, everything. And then they also get your Social Security sent directly to them. Yeah. So really, and what if you only live, I don't know, a year or something,
Well, the government pays a certain amount of that here.
Okay.
But they still, if you have, it's very convoluted, like, not as convoluted as the states, mind you, but it is. But remember, somebody said earlier in the chat that socialism, I don't know why socialism is such a negative word in the states. All it means is looking after your people and running a government for the people, taking care of them. So I live in kind of a socialistic democracy, okay, with a very different government, because they're a very small country, right? There's only 5 million Kiwis in the world. That's it.
Oh, okay.
A lot of them live over in Australia. So when you meet a Kiwi, that's pretty rare.
It's pretty rare, yeah.
And that's the slang term for New Zealander, if you don't know Kiwi. Because they have Kiwi birds, right? And that's kind of the national bird.
Sure.
Nocturnal, long beaky thing that's, runs around in nighttime.
No.
But anyway, So healthcare, you show up at a hospital, you don't walk away with a bill. If you're sick, you're taken care of, period. You get on an airplane, any of you visit New Zealand, you get in an accident, you go to the hospital. Part of your airfare pays for, it's called ACC. It's an insurance corporation for the whole country, takes care of everybody. There are problems with it, like sometimes there are significant wait times if you're waiting. But the more urgent people will be taken care of. So
yeah. When I remember being in Switzerland and having, I think what I had at the time, and I didn't know it, was I had like sickness from the height of
the altitude sickness.
Altitude, yeah. And I went in and I was worried because I didn't have I thought it was going to cost me a lot of money. And I went in and there was a French doctor. And I don't speak French, so I kept saying "mal à la tête" because that's all I knew what to say, which was sick in the head. But he gave me a suppository. He said, "I don't want you taking it, this way, go this way with it." And so I went to pay. It was $14 to pay to see the doctor, and then the medicine was like $3. So
I have to say, I mean. So you can choose to have insurance on top of that government stuff.
Yeah.
Through my husband's work, we managed to do that. And I'm extremely grateful, because otherwise I'd be in a ton of debt. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true. Well, you had some things you researched, so I want you to speak to them.
Yeah. Sure. I was just thinking, okay, so we're probably collectively here and in the recording, if you watch this back, we're probably in the group of people that are just like, okay, What's next? How do we survive in a world that is difficult, that doesn't necessarily think critically, and we're kind of outliers, right? We can show solidarity with others in different means, okay? And you pick and choose your thing as long as you're safe, right? That's the main thing. But my thing was like, how do you survive or thrive in a very challenging environment that ostracizes people like us, which looks down on people like us? So, so number one, protect your energy and focus, right? So, so I've got notes here, so I'm looking at notes. So apply your sphere of influence thinking. Okay. Who do you work with that's like-minded with you? Who is in your personal life that's like-minded? Who's in your community life that's like-minded? I mean, like, we've got people from all over the world present here. This is where we feel safe. I mean, sometimes we get hacked in this kind of setting, but you know, so what's our sphere of influence? In the workplace, refuse unrewarded invisible labor. Oh, you know, since you are, you know, such a good worker, can you train all these people and do things? You know, if you're in a structure or systematic situation, you know, oh, I'm going to assign the junior person to work with you on this project because you're mature and you're going to teach them. That's a cop-out by management because they aren't providing the professional development for the person.
I taught my assistant manager his job. So and that was the 80s. So I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So exactly. And then they pass you up in the ranks, you know, because of all kinds of things. Or refuse. Okay, this community, this one here is lovely. There's lots of people in this community and some may or may not resonate with you. So choose wisely what you engage with. Okay. It's okay to try new things and think, oh yeah, okay, I'll be open-minded about it. But if it doesn't resonate with you, then you don't have to, right? Same in your personal life. Yes, exactly. Discernment. Thank you very much. Decouple self-worth from institutional validation. So your self-worth has nothing to do with your job. Your self-worth has nothing to do with how crap your government is or great your government is. Your self-worth is you, about you and how you live your life and how you feel inside. Okay.
I love that. That's wonderful.
That's super, super important. And I think that's easy to forget, especially for me. I'm finding, you know, I'm kind of one of the more mature people on the team. And it's just like, really, come on, am I an idiot? You know, they've got all, but we have really junior people on our team, but they have to be fair. They have to apply all these things to the whole team. And I'm just kind of, sometimes I find that challenging to deal with. I'm like, I'm a mature adult. I get my job done. Trust me. You know, but anyway, it's okay.
Or it could be vice versa, where you're older and I want you to employ these new pedagogies and throw yours away completely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And adopt the visitor mindset. I like that one. I am just a visitor in this country. I'm just watching and observing. You know, you don't get emotionally too, it doesn't get stuck in your heart so much. You're protecting yourself. It's self-preservation. But not at the risk of not being part of a community and standing up for what you mean when you mean it, right? It's a fine line. And that's where your critical thinking comes in. And then reframing survival as resistance in your mind. You aren't going to say that out loud to people unless it's your safety group, right? The people that know you in and out and who you know are true. And I would just keep that. But know that just even being here with a like-minded group of people and knowing that there's the things greater than us that can be acknowledged and not associated with a particular organization or anything like that is a beautiful thing.
It really is. And we don't have to agree on everything. But the problem with that is that we've been made, not in this community, but we've been made to embrace division, embrace it, and it's not, it doesn't work. It's counterintuitive. so if somebody says to me, for instance, that they really love, they love only tarot cards and no other kind of cards, and that's great for them. And
Yeah.
I say, I really only like the oracle cards or different other ways of divination. It doesn't mean I'm right and they're wrong.
Right.
It's personal preference, but it's really sad that that we were even being asked to put up a wall, to put walls up against people.
Especially, what really bothers me, and this is where, how am I going to put this? In educational settings, that's what frightens me, because especially in academia, you're dealing with adults, so hopefully you've got some critical thinking in there, but they're still putting policies and procedures in to get people to think a certain way, and that's really frightening to me. And the other thing is, even through the businessification of some universities, even just at that level, that's a different way of thinking than, hey, if we break even, that's an academic institution, and we've still got humanities, we've still got the arts, we've still got, instead of just business, science, STEM stuff, science, technology,
right. Absolutely.
part, and mathematics.
I saw things go very far downhill when they decided STEM was much more important than any of the humanities. And that's not true, because we live with people, and we live with the people from different cultures and things. So, and now I'm seeing that that there's an argument for making sure 17 pages worth of stuff to go through to make a class. So the class doesn't become any autonomy for the instructor. The class is a cookie cutter vision. And, sometimes that works and sometimes it doesn't.
No. So that, are the people that make the decisions going to be present in the actual course itself? You can offer up discussion, right? So anyway, but remember, many of us here are mature or a little bit on an age or not, but remember, we have a lot of life experience to acknowledge that got us to where we are, to realize, hey, there's a lot more to this than what we see. That feelings and, spirituality and ways of being are beyond kind of the science things. And, if you've got guides, or you're spiritual, or you use your cards for divination, or you remote travel, whatever it's called, you know what I mean?
Remote view.
Remote vision. Thank you. If you remote yourself somewhere else, awesome. Why not? You might discover things. And the rapid adoption of change right now is so mind numbing and crazy. It was never, it's just like, wow, okay. So you've just got to be kind of like that ship that slowly steams through the ocean, and look at the clouds. Get your information. You don't have to be at the forefront of tech to, which is, if you can, great. If that's not your gig, that's cool too, but everything's going to be okay in the long run. But just remember to grab your information from multiple locations, think critically. Remember, you've got maturity on your side, even if we think we're mature. Okay.
So this is interesting. Stefan Burns talks a lot about, I think he talks about earthquakes and certain other things. Okay. So he put some cards and many comments on the negative. They think it's evil. That's because, Mary, that's so true. And this is why so many of us don't say things in other venues, because we are, and so here's an example. I was trying to, what they call level up in my, because I didn't have a full-time job, but if you level up, you make a bit of more money. And this was in the 2020. And I'm working on doing the work that they asked me to do. And the teacher, I'm sorry, the dean was saying to me, there's something missing here. There's just something that I'm not seeing something. So I thought to myself, okay, I wrote about how I employ some of my Buddhist philosophies in the way that I teach. Well, all of us, and that was a fearful thing for me to do, And I hate that, but it was. And she actually said this was it.
Fantastic.
And, you know, and now you know, there's some other things going on, but I was surprised because most of the time people will turn on you like that if they think that
because they're surviving in a system that's designed for survival of the fittest instead of, hey, one is not a community. Let's get the community to survive together. And it's that fundamental kind of that societal weird way of thinking. That is just detrimental to people.
It is. Yeah. Well, and this is why we've talked about this before on the show together, where there was a guy that was like a surgeon or a brain surgeon or something, had an NDE and wrote about it. And he actually survived that. But most of the time, the colleagues would tear down somebody who did that because they were coming from that medical scientific mind and not the mind of something that was otherworldly.
And that's called scientism. And scientism is the belief that if you do not behave and research and discuss things in the way that that particular school of thought thinks in, then you are an outcast, which is the opposite or antithesis of what I thought education was supposed to be. Hey, generate new ideas. And scientism is what universities, many of them, are complicit in. So, you know, and the way how I found this out with my thesis is one school of thought here, I did an interdisciplinary degree, and some people thought it was really cool in both schools of thought, but they just don't know what to do with me because I bridged the thinking. So it's like, oh, cool, you did this cool thing. So, like, you know, if somebody was quoting my work, it'd be like, in an unusual study from New Zealand.
I love that. And you know what's really awful for me is that as a Libra, I have to balance it all the time. And I get stuck in that. Woo, you know, and I've seen it more and more with us. Like Marina's that way, Rossi's that way, other people that I know. And it can be like a cat chasing his tail, but there's something about the sense of fairness.
Absolutely. Fairness and, you know, life's hard enough, people. Gosh, let's be kind to each other. We don't have to other each other.
Which reminds me that there is, what is it? Sue, her name was Sue Dreck, Susan Dreck, DWECK. She came up with fixed and
I think I have her name. Carol Dweck. Carol. Yeah, Carol Dweck. It was 2006.
Fixed mindset. Yeah. And it's interesting because in one of the courses I teach, we have the military. Most of my students are military. And in the military, you have to think as the group, right? You have to think you're part of this team, and you have to look out for everybody else. And there's a real sense that you have to have this fixed mindset in order to do that. And when they look at this and they read about growth mindset, which is what could be employed to go through this biases and assumptions, what they're seeing here is that, oh, maybe I'm a little bit too fixed. Maybe I should be a little bit more open-minded. So,
no, I understand that. Well, you know what? Again, we're humans, souls having a human experience. You know, I mean, gosh, at the end of the day, be kind to yourselves, but just think critically, think a little bit more. Or if you're going to judge, step back and think, well, for example, here's a great way for me. I get road rage so easily. And I go from where to go, like, you know, and some choice words come out of my mouth. But I think, you know what? Maybe they're having a bad day. You know, maybe their karma is something else. But you know what I mean? Just
well,
we're human.
I found out very, very much in my older years that you can be as spiritual as you want, and you are most of the time. Once in a while, we are human, and our human side does come out.
Yeah, for
So,
sure, for sure. Yeah,
uh,
no, I totally
uh,
understand that.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
it
dear, never
is,
mind.
Cheryl. You're a Libra too, so you get it totally. And
Mm,
sometimes, though, it is hard. It is hard. Although I have found that it's really done me some good things, because I will tolerate a lot more than a lot of other people will when it comes to that kind of thing.
yeah.
I will try to look at the other side, and even if I hate it, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, that's
yeah,
the thing. Trying to put yourselves in the shoes of another perspective that you might
yeah,
fundamentally disagree with in your heart and soul is
yeah,
super important, because then you can know how to
yeah,
maybe reframe things in a way that they might understand it, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that takes a lot of work. I can say that, but getting me to do
Mhm.
it can be really hard work. So I'm just
Well,
saying you're all humans,
I
guys.
remember one of my colleagues telling her class that they could not write a paper on abortion because she
Oh,
didn't believe in abortion and she was against it. And she was, and I thought, well, there's one good thing about that. She's told them what her biases are. And so
yeah,
they won't write on that and they'll get a better grade. But I always felt really bad for them, because if that's what they wanted to write on, they
sure.
just have to present me with some good, concrete claims and evidences to support their claim. That's all.
Yep.
But there's some people that they know they can't do that. So I guess I'd rather have someone say they know they can't do that than to try something that they might push down. And there
Yeah,
goes my
I
grade.
mean, and you see that bias there, like in history classes. If you get like a very socialist professor, you know you're going to have to write in a way that's, to get that grade, right? Even if that's not your belief, that happens profusely in so many places.
Well, it does, and
That's
it
okay.
happens actually in workplaces as well.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, it's sort of like read the
Mm,
room, read
yeah,
the room. Yeah,
yeah.
wherever you are, read the room.
That's why I'm happy to kind of cruise, not shine too much, just do a really good job at what I do and
Yeah,
make myself valuable to the people that I can,
yep.
work
And
with.
then go home.
Yeah, go home with some
Yeah,
sanity intact. But
yeah.
it's easier said than done. I
It is.
mean,
It is.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Wow. Well, this
yeah.
has been a really great opportunity for us to talk about these things. And of course, we
Thank
didn't really
you.
solve anything, but I did like that list of how to move away and make some
Thank you. Yeah.
observations about certain things. And I love
Mm,
that decouple yourself from things. That's important, because
yeah.
sometimes we'll tell somebody we're from the United States and they'll go, "Oh, you're president," or something like that. And it's like, okay, but and I actually even told
Yeah.
somebody, that's not mine.
Well,
So,
that's the thing.
yeah,
It's not like you're 300 plus million people all in one
right.
person, right? Everybody's different. But the
Everybody.
world stage, it's like, oh, you're American. You're going to have a gun and you're going to kill me. That's
I
not true.
know. I know.
Um, um,
There's your assumption,
but
right? Yeah.
yeah, so
Yeah.
decouple self worth from institutional validation, whatever that institution is. That would be
Yeah.
your validation is your self worth, and you know who you are. I mean, you've come,
Yeah.
this far.
You've come this far. Be your
Mm,
authentic self,
yeah.
whatever that means to you. So thank
Yeah.
you, Dr.
Sorry
Ann.
about the buffering, everybody,
Yeah.
today, but
Happens.
welcome
Happens.
to New Zealand. I mean, the cloud is actually cables under the ocean, right? So we're lucky we even have a cable connection between Australia and
You
us. So
actually are, because I believe there was some that were cut somewhere, and I couldn't tell
yes,
you where, but yeah.
yeah. And then
Anyway,
everybody would have to go to Starlink. So there you go. Good grief.
I have that actually, because
Uh,
that's the only
yeah,
way
fair
I can
enough.
get anything, and I'm not
Yeah,
happy
fair
about it.
enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Anyway, thank you so much, Dr. Ann. Thank you,
Thank
everybody, for
you.
spending some time with us today. And yes, we love you, and thank you for your participation and your comments.
Thank you
We'll
so
see
much,
you again.
everybody. So
Bye,
lovely
everybody.
to see you all.
Yeah.
Bye.